I never really thought about death until I was smacked in the face with something close to it on July 18th. My wife and I decided to climb Mount Fuji. There's a myth that if you get stationed in Japan, you have to climb Mount Fuji. If you don't, then you'll get stationed back here in the future. I'm going to tell you about an extreme adventure of climbing Mount Fuji, from preparation to the climb up and the climb down. You can never be too prepared for climbing such an enormous mountain. I'm pretty fit. I work out about 3 times a week and continue to do my routine, especially since I was climbing one of the tallest mountains in Japan, which stood 3,776 meters. My wife did minimal, and I mean minimal exercise. Her exercise consisted of playing in the park with the kids and getting a tan at the local pool. Yes, she's still alive, so that goes to show you that anyone can climb Mount Fuji, as long as they have the determination to do so. We also prepared such essentials such as water, Snickers bars, beef jerky, peanut butter, and jelly sandwiches. We wanted to eat something that would give us energy but protein as well. The most important thing that we packed were long sleeve shirts, sweaters, raincoats, and gloves. My wife also packed hand warmers in case it got cold, but really, I think she brought them just so she can say we use the things that she buys at the 100-yen store. We also bought a stick to collect our stamps of achievements. Once we were at the base of Fuji, we had to drive about 30 minutes to get to the 5th station, also known as the starting point of the climb. The weather was not too friendly for a day of climbing. It was rainy, cold, wet, and windy. You must be thinking, maybe you should have checked the weather before you prepared. Well, we did, and it said that on the 18th of July, it was going to be sunny and cloudy. Good thing we brought extra clothes to throw on in case the weather got worse. As I mentioned above, we started at the 5th station. There are 9 stations on the mountain. At each station, you can get a stamp on your Fuji stick, like so. The first 5 stations are drivable, but once you're at the 5th station, it's all hiking and climbing. We're already on the 5th. It shouldn't be a problem to climb 4 more stations, right? Wrong. There are also 5 of 7 stations and 3 of the 8 stations. It took maybe 30 minutes to hike up from the 5th station to the 6th station. At the 6th station, my wife actually hurt her hip trying to get to the first of the 7 stations. Yet, we still had 6 more hours of climbing to go before we'd reach the summit. The summit was very deceiving. Whenever you would look up, you'd see the highest of the mountain and think, that's not that bad, it's so close. Then you get to that point, look up, and notice the same thing. Eventually, we got to the summit. When we did, we were only there for 30 seconds. The rain was coming down harder, it was starting to get darker, and the wind was getting even colder. The wind didn't help anything. Remember, those pocket warmers that my wife packed, they didn't even help, not even a little bit. So here we are at the top. We bought a hot drink from one of the vending machines, took a photo, and recorded ourselves on the summit. After 30 seconds, we are now even more eager to get off the mountain, especially since it's getting dark. As it got darker, it gets even colder, and the wind gets stronger, and the rain started to feel like bee stings. We were worried about being on the mountain in the dark since we had forgotten our flashlight. It wouldn't have taken us so long to climb up if it wasn't for the weather. Well, on the way down, we were trying to figure out the easiest way. The map showed a path we could take to lead us down and go all the way across to the side where we had started. So we did head down the mountain, and in no time, to get to the location we wanted to go to. Turns out, we went down the wrong path. A local told us that we'd have to climb 20 minutes to get up to the spot that we had just left. Unfortunately, it took us 40 minutes because of the weather. Well, by that time, it was extremely dark and extremely cold, so we're finally on the right path, and we noticed there's no lights. We had no flashlight to see where the edges of the mountains were, our trail period, and the signs. Luckily, my wife remembered that we had a small light on our key that she bought at the 100-yen store before. This one right here. Well, as we were trailing down the little light, with the little light that flashed once in a while in front of us, because we feared it might run out of batteries, we noticed that we were the only ones climbing down the mountain. The closest station was about 70 minutes away. We were both sliding down on the gravel trails. Both our knees, feet, and ankles were hurting extremely bad. We seriously felt like we were going to be on that show, I Shouldn't Be Alive. Then, right when we thought we found a place to rest, we come closer to this concrete-looking box that was in the middle of nowhere on this mountain. We flashed the light at it and noticed that it was a sliding door with one door open. As we flashed the light in the box, it was just completely dark. It felt like the hills have eyes. We were so freaked out that we had a sudden adrenaline rush come all over us. We were almost running down the mountain, just praying and hoping to get off that mountain alive and soon. After an hour of climbing down, our prayers were answered. We ran into a group who were climbing down the mountain with the older couple who needed assisting. We were never happier to run into a group of people who knew where they were going with flashlights. Our preparation, climb up, climb down, the preparing part was definitely the easiest. But we are alive and well recovered since our adventure of Mount Fuji. We would have never had a story to go with our climb if it was very easy. Though we dreaded the climb up and down, and despite the scenarios we came across, it was a rewarding accomplishment, and I'll never do it again.